about food today. But yes, we'll talk about food because the World Food Safety Day. Yes, the food safety saves lives. It's not only a crucial component to food security, but it also plays a vital role in reducing foodborne disease. Every year, about 600 million people fall sick as a result of around 200 different types of foodborne illness. The burden of such illness falls most heavily on the poor and on the young. This year's themes for the food safety science in action, that's the theme for this year. Food safety science in action. I liked the vital role of science in ensuring the food we eat is safe. And in 2025, we commemorate its 7th edition. In addition to today's foodborne illness, is also responsible for 420,000 preventable deaths every year. My name is Michael Inyang, and joining us live is also, let's say ladies first. We'll start with a lady first. He's a food safety scientist and technologist and a member of the NIFST. We have Onwunata, Chinwendu. Fortunate, welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
And also,
good morning, Super 92.7 FM Lagos. I'm glad to be here in your midst today.
All right, thank you very much. Good morning and welcome. And now joining me also live in the studio here is an environmental and occupational health consultant. Another person down, Hezekiah, Akinpelu, Owalabi, Asamu. Welcome to the show. Good morning.
Good morning, listeners.
And also joining me also in the studio here is a food safety auditor and public health officer, Inem, Ukpong. Inem, Ukpong, good morning and welcome to the show.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, welcome. And now let's make this World Food Safety Day is very, very, very important. It's also a way of making people aware of food safety issues. It's also demonstrating how to prevent illness through food safety. It's also discuss collaborative approaches to improved food safety across sectors. It will promote solutions and ways of being more food safe. And now in 2018 December, cognizant of the urgent need to raise awareness at all levels and to promote and facilitate actions for global food safety, the UN General Assembly designated 7th of June as a World Food Safety Day. That's yesterday, Saturday, it was designated as the World Food Safety Day. Let's start with our guest over the phone right here, Fortunate. How important are we going to say is food safety? How important is it to be safety about our food?
Good morning once again. I'm delighted to be here to mark the World Food Safety Day 2025. So the theme is talking about food safety science in action.
Yeah. And
just like the convener has introduced me, I am a food scientist and a food safety management system specialist. Today, I would like to let us know how important safe food is for everybody. So when you look at this theme for the year, science in action, this theme reminds us that safe food doesn't happen by accident, Okay. It is the result of intentional action. Okay. Like intentional actions that are grounded in sciences, research, and practical systems that protect the food from getting contaminated and ensure that your food is safe from farm to fork. So that's important because the life of the public is at stake here. And when we treat food safety, probably in isolation, the repercussions can come down to the entire public.
Okay.
So what this means in short is that even as a consumer, you are a risk manager when it comes to food safety. And so what is this food safety all about? It's just about that insurance. That assurance that food, when you eat it, or even when you prepare it, it won't cause harm to the consumer or any adverse health effects. The convener has also said, the United Nations General Assembly formally established this day, June 7th, as a World Food Safety Day. in collaboration with the World Health Organization and Food and Agriculture Organization. So since 2018, this event has always been happening on the 7th of June. And since things that this year is talking about health is safe.
Okay, I guess we have a network challenge there. While we try to get reconnected back to you, let's come to a guest right here at the studio. Let me start with Mr. Owalabi right here. How important is this food safety? Because Nigerians will believe that once you ice your food, you're good to go. So how important should one take this food safety?
It is very crucial to take food safety very seriously, in the sense that whatever goes into our body system can have either positive or negative effect on us. And so food, from where it is produced or through who brought the food to the consumer, or whatever process the food have to undergo, every of these aspects may likely cause contamination. It may be contamination with pathogen, it may be contamination with chemicals. And when all of this happens, if the food is ingested into our system, it can cause a lot of problems.
Because of, just to break it down, what do you mean by pathogens? What are pathogens?
Pathogens are microorganisms that can harm us. That's the simplest way to describe microorganisms that can harm us. They are called scientifically pathogens. So if care is not taken when handling food, that food will become contaminated. And one example is that one that you have mentioned, icing food. Now, when you ice food, we call it ice, but there must be certain standard that must be maintained when food is iced. That can only be determined by the temperature of that food under that iced condition. And where is this food being iced? Is that particular freezer, is it hygienic? If it is not hygienic, it's going to cause contamination to that food that is placed inside that freezer or inside that refrigerator.
So a fridge can be non-hygienic?
Yes.
And hygienic?
Yes, it can be. Because food comes in and go out, different types of food. And the way things are arranged inside this cold storage system can actually cause more problem. There are some food that has to be kept at the bottom level, while others have to be at the upper level. Because if we have something like a fresh meat that is actually kept in the fridge, if it's kept at the upper level, if there is a fluctuation in the temperature, it will defrost, and then some fluid from it will start flowing. When it flows to all other food items at the bottom layer, they have become contaminated. And without knowing, if that is not done properly, is not handled properly and processed properly, they can be a source of foodborne illness.
Wow. That's interesting, Lagos. I'm sure you're taking note of all of this, because in Nigeria, even in Lagos, there are so many of these things we do unknowingly, even unknowingly to ourselves. Well, and let me come to Inem right here. There are so many levels of probably persistent organic pollutants. We have the alcins, we have furans, we have organochlorine, pesticides, so many of them. But they've had issues of canned food, frozen food, even fresh food. What level of contamination can this be to people? We've had the fact that, if food are canned the canned food, if they are stayed for a particular time and being iced, it affects the health. Can you break this down on the level of all of this canned, frozen, and fresh food? To what level can this be harmful to human health?
All right. Thank you so very much. So, what you've mentioned is a way of preserving food so that the food wouldn't go bad. Like fresh foods, if you don't preserve them, they'll go bad easily. So one of the most commonest way to preserve them for a longer time is canning. And before it's being canned, they've subjected the environment void of pathogens. So they've removed anything that could cause pathogens. So, but why this is being done, temperature control is really a thing. How was it? Was the thing really sterilized well? Was everything in order before it being kept there? And it being kept there is not going to be kept for an extended period of time. There will be a time frame. Some that will say, okay, it's best before this time. Some that will say used by this time. So when it's being said best before this time, that means you should it gives you the best of quality before that particular time. It hasn't really gone bad, but when it's being said used by this time, it talks about quality and also food safety. That means the quality is best at that time and it's no more very safe again after that particular time. So yeah, that is it. And also there could be instances where the canned food, there's some lining inside of that can that serves more like a barrier from the food touching the other can. And even the can is even must be made from food safe stuff, because there's some aluminum that are not supposed to be in contact ingested. So now you hear people say, when those cans, if the can happen to drop and it dents, it's not supposed to be consumed again, because the lining there might have leached into the food. So there's been an issue of chemical contamination, and there is also what is called hydrogen swell. After a particular time, the can of those stuff, the can is not more in shape, symmetrical. It may now happen to swell. That shows that the content there is no more wholesome. It's not supposed to be consumed. So that's
all right. Let me come to Fortunate. Fortunate, I don't know if you can hear me. Can you hear me now?
I can hear you.
Now, we're talking about canned food. In Nigeria, we'll talk about our country. These practices, how long can a canned food be refrigerated? Some can leave it there for 1 week, 1 month, 3 months. How long? Or can it be something that you can leave there for as long as there is power? Can you hear me?
Please, can you repeat your question?
All right, we're talking about canned food safety right here. And we're just re-examining all of these food safety systems with our practices in Nigeria. And I'm asking, how long can we refrigerate canned food? Is it as long as there is power, or there's a particular time, maybe a month, 2 months, 3 months, or as long as there is power, even if it's a year?
Okay, thank you for that question. For once a food is canned, there should be a certain time be refrigerated. Okay. And most times we open our canned food and we think that, because we've opened it, we can refrigerate as long as possible. Yeah. But for food safety, when you talk about vegetables that are into canned food, that are inside canned food, you can live as long as 3 to 4 days, depending on the shelf life. You understand? And also for our fruits, maybe you have a syrup, your juice, it can be for 5 to 7 days. And then meat, high and the non-perishable foods. Some foods they have high climatoric factors that they expire as soon as possible. That is your vegetables, your fruits. Okay, so this food, they are high risk food. Let's just say maximum of 4 days, and maximum of 4 days for your meat, and then for the fruits in particular, which is the syrup or juice, it can go as long as 7 days. But after these 7 days, you are expected to consume this food or you discard. But for the non-perishable,
let me get you what a open canned food should
yes, please,
not last more than 7 days.
Yes, please. For your fruits, for your fruits. But for vegetables, you can store for 3 to 4 days. But then for your non-perishable foods, you have the soup, okay, you have beans, you can leave them just like 5 to 7 days.
I don't think we really can all those
we do.
beans, all those things. Most times,
like the baked beans is referring to, I believe.
Okay. Because most times it's always tomatoes and the normal canned tin tomatoes and all, the one we buy and all. Most those are. And then those fish canned food, we don't want to mention brand's name. Those are the ones that probably are being canned. But most times, the beans and the usual ones are always in a plastic. But is it safe in a plastic? Can it stay? Probably. Is it good? When you have when you have food in plastics, is it safer? Can it stay for as long as you want?
So when you have food in plastics, you can leave them. For tomatoes, you can leave them for 12 to 18 months, like they are in plastic. And you know that you've saved it in a place that there is no contaminants whatsoever. Like the first speaker was talking about, in your freezer you have certain chambers where you store your food. You don't need to store foods,
Okay, you wanted to make a comment.
So I wanted to make a comment around canned food.
Oh, fortunate. Are you done? I guess were you trying to say something?
Yeah, I am done.
Okay. You wanted to say something?
So I want to make a comment about canned food.
Okay.
The way canned food is produced, they are made in such a way that it will be safe for an extended period of time. But for all that we are saying about science in action, every manufacturers of canned food, through scientific studies and tests, have come to determine what will be the shelf life, the right storage condition.
What do you mean the shelf life? For understanding, for
expiry date best before, like the other commentators have said. So they will have determined how long it can stay and under what condition. There are some type of canned food that does not need to be refrigerated. They just need to be stored in a dry food storage that is cool and dry. You don't need to even put it inside a fridge or put it inside a deep freezer. There are some like that. Whereas the manufacturer can say, for this particular type of food, you keep it under so temperature. And that temperature is a critical limit. That is a threshold that we have to actually maintain after the food is delivered to us. But for everyone in food business, they need to be familiar with all of these precautionary measures. If they are not familiar with these precautionary measures, it might be possible that they will take even the canned food that is already delivered to them in an unsafe condition. So definitely, you have to look out for a canned food that is not, a can that is not rusted, that is not swollen, that is not dented, that is not expired, or the ones that is, leaking. So all of these factors have to be considered before you take it in and you take it into your storage, either dry storage or cold storage. All of these practices have to be in place for those who are into food businesses or even a consumer at a domestic level. You have to be aware of all of these. Now, talking about a canned food that has already been opened. When it is already opened, you have already exposed it. So you now have to be very, very conscious of making sure you use it as soon as possible. Don't let it stay for a long period of time.
How long can it stay?
I think from what she is saying, it has to get out of that can first and foremost. And then you can place it in a plastic container.
I remember, sorry to cut you, I remember over the weekend, I went to get a pet food. And while it's always canned, dogs' food are always canned. So when I got it, I said, okay, how? The person told me, the vet doctor told me, he said that, of course, the dog cannot finish the can at once. You understand that when I give it the first one, I should put it in a takeaway pack before I ice it. And I'm like, okay, why? It was like, the contents, the can are really not safe and all that. So I just said, oh, okay. All of these preservative methods. I don't know if Inem, do you want to conclude on what
Yes,
you're
I want
saying?
to conclude on that because the moment you cut open the can, you have already opened a side of the metal with which that can was made, which can actually come in contact with the food. And those particular metals that are made, they have their own effects. Because of the thin lining with which the packaging was done, that is what preserved the food. Now that you've cut it open, you don't allow it to come in contact with the food. And that is the essence of making sure that you empty the can into a plastic container that has a proper lid, a proper cover, a tight-fitting cover. With that, you can take a portion that you need to use at that time, and as soon as possible, it's better to make sure that it does not go for an extended period of time before you finish the leftover in the plastic that you keep either in the fridge, because there will be an instruction on the can too that if you need to store, you store at certain temperature. It is that temperature that determines whether it is supposed to go into the fridge or it's supposed to go into the freezer. Now, we are going to be conscious of the danger temperature under which all these pathogens that I mentioned earlier can quickly thrive, they can multiply. Any temperature from 5 degrees centigrade upward up to 60, that is the temperature that will actually facilitate the multiplication of microorganisms. So normal fridge is supposed to operate between 0 and 4 degrees centigrade. That is the temperature at which the fridge should function properly and keep any food item in the refrigerator safe. Okay, if the temperature is below 0, it then means that food item has to go into the freezer, because the freezer is supposed to operate below that. Any frozen food is not supposed to be up to maybe around minus 17 degrees. It should be from minus 18 degrees downward to minus 32 degrees. That is the safer temperature for any frozen food items. So if the manufacturer say you can refrigerate, it then means you have to keep it in the refrigerator. But you have to be mindful that you have to use it as soon as possible. Mindly, if the refrigerator is not sanitized, is not cleaned and sanitized regularly, that can be a source of contamination into that food item. All of these practices are the things that we need to actually get clear. Whether we are at domestic level or at food business level, we need to understand this so that we don't allow our food to get contaminated.
Quickly, you mentioned something. Should food be refrigerated, opened, or closed, or whichever one goes?
It has to be closed.
All food?
All food has to be in a container. It has to be in a container so that you don't allow all other external items within the refrigerator.
What if other items are closed or are being packed in the nylon, the polythene?
So that means anyone that you expose is going to be the one that will contaminate the external area of the refrigerator.
All right, Lagos, don't forget you can be part of this conversation this morning. Yes, we're talking about food safety. Yes, it's a World Food Safety Day. And we are looking about world food safety. A lot of Nigerians, a lot of Lagosians on the go, throw anything in our mouth. And right here we have professionals who will answer your questions. Sometimes we also have issues of food poisoning. We'll go into that aspect of food safety also. Call us right here on 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Or call us on the other line 0802 502 7711. Who's our first caller? Hello, good morning.
Hello, Michael. Good morning.
Yes, good morning. Welcome to the show. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
Good morning to your guest.
All right, good morning. Please welcome to the show. Go ahead.
Ben from Able.
Go ahead. Make it come.
I wanted to talk about water, the water we drink, all this pure water, bottled water, and the canned food you are talking about. I wanted to talk about the preservatives they put inside, whether it is healthy for human consumption. Because I fear all these canned foods, like sardine, geisha, all those stuff, corned beef. I fear all those things. So anytime I see it, I'm afraid because what we make fish they cook to be to stay there be okay for months without fermenting. I mean, I'm afraid of it. They should tell us about all these things and also the things we eat here buy from the market. The hygienic nature of the things we buy from the market, like palm oil and so many other things that are exposed. Like palm oil, they add red oxide. Some use coloring to boost it. There are so many things, nonsense we eat in the market, like carbide they use to boost banana, make it to ripe fast. There are so many dangerous chemicals they use to process food we eat. I wanted to talk about this. Thank you so much.
All right, thank you very much. Yes, keep your call coming in. I'm sure our guests are taking note. Fortunate, can you hear?
Yes, please, I can hear you.
Can you hear the caller that just called?
The question, right?
Yes. I hope you get it.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I got it.
Okay, it will come to you now. I'm coming to you now, but then let's keep the phone lines open. 0705 690 0927. 0705 690 0927. Or you can call us on 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711. Don't forget, you can also send us a message on WhatsApp 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927. If you have any health related question or comment you want to make, not talking about a doctor, or we don't have doctors here. These are food scientists, so don't come and say you have malaria and then so it's just about food. Yes, how safe your food can be. If you have any bothering questions on some things you see in the market, on the roadside, and you want to just throw lights on all of these things, yes, feel free to call us, or even you can send your message via WhatsApp on 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927. You can call or send a WhatsApp message with that number. Okay, let me come to you, Fortunate. You had our caller right there who's been worried about all of this thing, how fish being in a can for as long as possible, also oil and oil. But let's pick this call, then we'll come back to you. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's the name? Where are you calling from?
My name is Sean from Mowe.
All right, Sean from Mowe. Please go ahead and make your comment.
So there was time I used to love beans. Like I used to very well. I can even put it in Indomie.
You used to what? You used to what? Can you please come again? You used to do what?
I said I love locust beans. To testing, I put it in everything I eat, even Indomie. So recently, when I eat locust beans, I throw up, and this has been coming for like 2-3 days. Anytime I eat locust beans, I throw up. So I was asked, who could have the reason why I throw up for things I used to eat frequently before. What happened?
All right, thank you very much. That will come to Inem there. I'll come to you. We'll put that question to you. She said she used to eat locust beans very well. There's a name Yoruba call it. Iru. Okay, yes, yeah. But she loves it so much, and now it's now becoming poisonous to her, I guess. Okay. Hello, good morning. Oh, can you please turn down the volume on your radio set?
Yes, I'm off it.
Okay.
Good morning.
Yeah. Good morning. What's the name? Where you calling from?
Good work. Okay, this is Okame.
Okame from where, please?
I'm in Abulado under first start.
All right. Okame from Abulado. Yeah. Please go ahead, make your comment.
Okay. My beloved brother, you two are doing a very great job. I wish there will be task force that will be going to one restaurant or the other, or the people are selling on the road, gutter side. In fact, I'm sorry to say, Lagos is one of the dirtiest city so far. You see somebody would just see me. Yes, I'm coming. He's serving people.
He will not wash hand. He will use that hand and go and serve people. Some of them will use the hand, poo-poo from the child. He will not wash it and go and be served. He's selling food, selling food. And some of them will be in the gutter side. Very smelly, they will be serving people food. How will they will be task force? They will be sending around and check and arrest people. Some of them said the plate that they wash is not even neat, clean. They will use it again and again. And you get different. You will be seeing different type of sicknesses attacking people. Disturbing people. So please, you people are doing a great job. People they have keep people in different ways of, in fact, poisoning people in the name of they are selling food or selling drinks. Even some of the drinks, some of the food that they are selling, they have used chemicals to poison people. Please, this is okay, calling you from abroad. In fact, even to eat buns, some of them are saying that the oil that they normally use to fry buns, is not even the original oil that they're supposed to use. How wish there will be task force or people that will be arresting people or keeping our environment neat, keeping everywhere neat.
Right. We get your question there. Thank you very much. We understand how painful it could be, how emotional it is for you talking about food safety. That's why we're here to really relate to Nigerians and to you on how well you can be safe about food. Okay, let's take the answers right now before we take more questions, more phone lines from the people. Okay, let's go to Fortunate to you. The first caller talked about all of these issues happening, canned foods. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right. The first caller was talking about canned foods, to his imagination, how it is and all. So do you want to take on that?
Yes, please.
Please go ahead.
So thank you once again. The first caller was asking a question or was sharing concern about canned food, the preservatives used.
Yeah.
Okay. So I would also want to, the last time I was talking, the network was not really helpful. So like the canned food, just like the other convener has said that once you open, you know how many days you have to leave your food in the refrigerator and the likes. So back and for unopened canned foods, they can stay as long as 18 months. Yes, that's fine. But for preservatives used in canned foods, you see, most things that we use to process this food, they either have a good effect or a bad effect in the long run. So when you talk about preservatives, most of them are actually healthy. You understand? So, and the way they are being used or to preserve the food might really happen to the consumer as if the food is no longer safe. So
sorry to cut you here. Sorry to come in there. Preservative, can they last? Don't they have expiry dates? Can they last for as long as possible?
So for preservatives in the factory, they have expiry dates. But on your food as well, when your food has extended the shelf life, that means your preservative is also gone with the food, right? So for preservatives, for your canned food, what I would always like to advise the consumers to do is to look out for the preservatives with the E code. With the E code, we have the likes of the benzoates. Okay, these benzoates, they help to preserve your food in the long run. So if you
when you come up with a name, please break it down so that Nigerians can understand it better.
Okay. So like I was saying, I said you have preservatives which are very, very good. And I said you have with preservatives with the E numbers or E names. Example is your sodium nitrate BHA. So best practices for consumers is to always look at for these codes on the food labels. Okay, why are you looking out for this code? Is to ensure that in the long run you are safe, and that the food you are eating is also what safe. That does not mean that other preservatives can cause harm to you immediately, but we
Right, that's the voice of a food safety scientist and technologist and a member of the NIFST. Let's try and get reconnected back to her right here. Okay, I don't know if Mr. Owalabi, you want to take a little bit on that?
I want to articulate it in this manner.
Okay.
That every average consumer there needs to be well informed. First and foremost, there are food grade additives to food, either to preserve it or to enhance its taste or the color, so that it will be attractive.
Okay.
All of those things by international standard or best practices.
We'll come to you, Fortunate. Okay, you want to say? Are you back? Hello.
Yeah, I'm here.
Okay, quickly. You want to round up your? You want to round up your talk? Please go ahead.
Can I continue here?
Please go ahead.
Okay. So.
Sorry,
we have
Mr.
the natural and synthetic preservatives.
Okay.
And I would always say, if there's a way you can preserve your food naturally by using your salt, okay, it could help in the long run as well. But for those food that are being processed in the industry, sometimes we use salt, okay, and sometimes we use these synthetic preservatives, which I've mentioned, sodium benzoate, sulfate. And these things, exposure to them maybe in the long run could lead to health implications. And that is why you are supposed to, as a consumer, as a risk manager at the same time, look out for the labels on the food you are buying. It will help you make informed decisions. Because whatever that has good benefits might also have bad benefits.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me hold you there because of our time. We have so much to cover right here, and I know we still have callers who want to ask one or two questions on this. Let me come to the other questions on locust beans. I think that was directed to Inem there. So the caller was saying, well, she's worried. I mean, she loves locust beans, and then it was like a Christmas food for her, but now it's becoming poisonous. So what do you think had went down? I'll say to myself, there was a time I love beans so much. I mean, I'm a lover of beans so much. It got to a time when I take it too much, I start using the toilet. So I start reducing it. In fact, I do ask myself, something that you love so much is now beginning to hurt you. How do you want to explain that?
Okay, remember last time we mentioned something called allergens last time.
Okay.
In as much as locust beans is not among the 14 allergens that we mentioned, but and there's another one that we talk about that we call intolerance. So there are some things that we eat it and we are fine at a particular time, and our digestive system can no more handle that thing after a while.
Okay.
It's even like milk. Some people cannot digest milk at all. They're lactose intolerant, and some people, anything that has gluten, they cannot handle it because they have celiac disease. So for this person now, it's most likely that her system is no more tolerating that particular food, the locust bean something, and most time that particular food is fermented in a way. So that as well can trigger why she is puking when taking the food.
So age had occurred. Is it that she has grown to now locust begin to affect her?
Not really physical growth.
Okay.
The digestive system most time so that's why I was saying it's more of an intolerance. And I had mentioned allergies. So, and I said, locust beans are not exactly among the 14 allergens, but there are some people that react to other things that are allergic to other things outside the 14 allergens that we mentioned earlier.
Okay, Mr. Owalabi.
Okay, I want to just mention that it depends on where she got it from and the processes that particular locust bean was subjected to. If in the process of fermentation, there has been certain things that went wrong in the during the processes. It might lead to that reaction. If she gets it from somewhere else, she may not react to it, maybe because of better handling and processing. Because adulteration takes place along the food supply chain, especially when this food undergo processing at the hand of different kind of individual. I remember that first caller was saying that all kinds of things are happening to our food, like the palm oil.
Yes.
The red oxide that is put into it is an additive that's to enhance the color. Whereas the red oxide on its own,
we talk palm oil just from palm
can give rise to a lot of reactions on people. In fact, that on its own have rendered that palm oil poisonous.
So you see some things are added to palm oil.
Different things are happening. Adulteration is happening everywhere. Use of carbide to make sure that banana, plantain, orange, mango get ripened fast. All of these will cause additional problem to consumers. So the consumers need to be well educated or informed to know how you are going to distinguish between the one that is enhanced to get ripe from the one that got ripe naturally.
How do we know? How does the
You
consumer
will
know?
see some sign of coloration. Some you will look so whitish, a little shade of whitishness will show on that particular banana or plantain or mango or orange. So when you see it like that, it is those people who saw it naturally on the trees as it gets ripe that can quickly be able to distinguish between the one that is enhanced and the one that is not enhanced.
Then let me, in addition to this, the Senate, the National Assembly, is passing a bill right now, coming up with a bill that anyone caught enhancing fruit ripening will probably go to jail. Do you agree with that?
Actually, we are going to talk about governance. You see, governance, a lot of responsibility is lying on them. According to one of the caller who said there should be a task force.
Yes.
No, it's not about task force. The regulation has to be the bedrock. There should be regulatory provisions. And that is their role, to make sure that various things that takes place around food from farm to fork are well regulated. And every individual that come into food businesses actually are able to get to be familiar with what is expected of them at their own stage in the food supply chain. If everyone actually try as much as possible to comply with all the regulatory standards that are set out, we will by that begin to work towards achieving food safety. Making sure that any food item that is there for public consumption is safe. But if there are mishandling along the way, which is causing all of these problems that the callers are complaining of, definitely every individual needs to make an informed decision about what to choose. Okay, my fellow guests on the phone also mentioned something about the canned food. Yes, manufacturers have standard, best practice standard to make canned food, and they are mandated to put information about the type of preservatives that they put, the type of enhancers or whatever that is put in that food. So every consumer now needs to actually understand, what is my allergic reaction? What is it that I'm allergic to? So when you pick any canned food, look at all the label and see whether one of the substances there are among those ones that you are allergic to, and so you stay away from it. If you are not allergic to it, then you can take. So we need to also be informed that we need to know our own allergic reactions. What are the substances that we are allergic to? So if we do not know what substances we are allergic to, not until when we take or ingest a food that contains that allergy. So it is in the medical field that they will be able to pin down during diagnostic tests, to pin down on what particular allergy are you reacting to in this food. Some individuals have been taking certain food before, like the beans that you are talking about. Beans these days are preserved with pesticides. And there are some pesticides that has already been banned.
Wow. Let's pick this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, good morning. What's the name where you're calling from? Spotlight is the show. Welcome.
Yeah, my name is Peter Usifo. I'm calling from Abaronjeni.
All right, Peter Usifo, please make your comment.
It has always been said, especially by the poor among us, that something must kill a man. We are talking about food poisoning or the safety of our food. Yes. Something must kill a man. You see somebody or some people in some areas going to the dustbin to eat, and they feel fine. So probably their immune system is better than others who eat on table with forks, spoons, and the rest, the cutlery. Yet they have problems. So how do you analyze this? And moreover, when we are talking about food poisoning, we are talking. Some people say that junk foods, that are not good for some people or for many. That junk food is not good. How do you not differentiate junk food and the real food that is good? So I'm talking to those people in the studio to answer this question if possible.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that. Yes, keep your call coming in 0705 6900 927. 0705 6900 927. Or you can call also 0802 502 7711. 0802 502 7711. The other lines 0802 978 8003. 0802 978 8003. You can also call 0705 690 0927. Don't forget, you send us a message via WhatsApp. I will take your message right. Yeah. Okay. Fortunate. I don't know if you can hear me now. Hello. Fortunate, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. I don't know if you heard the caller I just called now.
No, please, can you tell me what he said?
Okay.
Network is really bad here.
All right. The caller were probably just talking more on all of these food safety issues, all these vendors, I guess. Talking about so many of these issues happening. I don't know if why he was redirecting on what should be done. Food vendors issues. Talking about preservative matters, food safety, food vendors. So how do you want to react to that? How well can the food be preserved? Also, let's look at, because of our time, let's look at can foodborne illness be deadly? Let's look at that too. Foodborne illness. Do we say it can be deadly? And it also talks about keys to safer food. Takes us through the keys of safe food. So let's look at that quickly. Can you hear me?
Okay. So the 5 keys to a safer food by the World Health Organization is: 1, you keep food clean. Keep clean. Keep clean. How do you keep clean? You keep clean by washing your hand often. When we preach about hand washing, it's not just about you pouring water on your palms. It goes beyond that. You need to scrub your interlaced fingers and the likes. So you wash your hands before you handle the food, and often during preparation. You clean all the kitchen surfaces. This way, you are keeping clean to protect your food from contaminants. And then you separate raw and cooked food. That's the second key to safer food. We separate the raw and cooked food. Like you are stocking your food in the freezer, you know where to keep your raw. Your raw food should come under. Okay, they're not supposed to drip to the fresh food or the cooked food. And then you cook thoroughly. So science has it that it's for you to ensure that your food is safe from pathogenic microorganisms. You cook above 75 degrees centigrade. So that way you are trying to kill the pathogenic microorganisms in the food. And then the 4th one, you keep food at safe temperature. You're not supposed to keep. We have a danger zone when we look at 4 degrees to 50 degrees. 4 degrees to 40. So this danger zone, the microorganisms they can set in, they thrive well at this temperature. So for even for consumers, you know that you're supposed to not to keep your food out of those that danger zone temperature for that time. And then you save water and raw materials. Oh, I am cooking, or I in my house I don't even know the source of my water, where it's coming from. You keep using your water. So for those of us the industry, we are using water as part of our raw materials. We go as far as treating this water, okay, and also looking out for indicators that the water is not safe. So these are basically the 5 keys to safer food, which consumers can always practice in the comfort of their home, in your kitchen. Okay. You don't need the rocket sciences to come and do all these things.
All right. Now then, quickly, can foodborne illness be deadly?
Yes, foodborne illness can be deadly. Just like you have said when you were doing the introduction, millions are dying because of foodborne illnesses. So most times we look at the UP, which is the vulnerable groups, the younger, the older, the pregnant women.
Why I'm saying this is when Nigerians, when they say, oh, food poisoning, Nigerians take it lightly. They feel like, well, I'll just... we do this scientific abracadabra thing we do. We just take oil, we drink oil, and then Nigerians say, oh, we are fine. Just if you have any food poisoning, or maybe you eat charcoal or drink palm oil, and then everything is fine. So all of this, what's your advice? Just 1 minute, please.
These things, there are different types to it. You might be experiencing food intolerance, and you take your palm oil and you are fine. Okay. I don't know anything around that, but for food poisoning, most of them are not onset. They are not acute immediately. You see, food poisoning, it takes time from the time of injection, okay, from the incubation time in your stomach and the likes. For as long as I know, the staph aureus can take 1 to 6 hours before you start reacting to this, and then you see people, or probably just ate something now and you're throwing up immediately. You think, oh, I've been poisoned by this food. Anyway, it could be food intolerance. But food poisoning is deadly. Foodborne illnesses, they are deadly. They can come.
All right, that's the note. Food poisoning is deadly. Nigerians, I'm sure you had. Quickly, let's look at this. Inem, if you could change or fix just one thing in Nigeria's food system overnight, what would it be and why?
It will be implementation of the regulation that has been said, and even the mindset of people, just like the other caller that said that one thing must kill a man. That mindset there is a problem in a way. Yeah, you may see cases where someone eats from the trash and the other person eats even more healthy and still reacts to the food. So the person's immune system differs. I can eat something else and react, and so implementation, and that goes to buttress the point where the other caller said that if there are task forces that will go around to make sure that people implement what is being said, like the food handler should know, the mama put person should know what he or she is supposed to do, not selling by the roadside, not just cleaning for the baby and now use the same hand to come and serve salad for somebody. Serving salad without utensils, just use bare hands to pick those raw things that were not cooked inside the food. So I really want that to be changed.
All right, thank you very much. And now let me come to Mr. Owalabi. Yeah, there's this. What do you think Nigerians, or do you think Nigerians trust the food they eat, and what has shaped that trust or lack of it? Quickly, just 10 seconds.
I think every individual just believe that they will eat what they can afford. And in eating what you can afford, there are basic things that we need to guide against. Our food, make sure your food is not in danger temperature. At least any food that you have cooked, make sure you reheat it after 2 hours.
Wow.
And make sure that it is hot enough where you are eating it. By so doing, some pathogens might be killed in the process.
All right, thank you very much. That's where we call it a wrap on the show this morning on Spotlight on Super FM 92.7. Food safety scientist and technologist and a member of the NIFST, Onwunata, Chinwendu. Fortunate. Thank you very much for joining the show this morning. And also Hezekiah Akinpelu, Owalabi, Asamu, an environmental and occupational health consultant. Mr. Asamu or Mr. Owalabi, thank you very much for being part of the show this morning. All right, also Mr. Inem, Ukpong, a food safety